the member for Wabek, the Honorable Dr. Lino, has just stated is absolutely correct. I completely endorse those statements and his sentiments. I want to commend Governor Pakop and his deputy, Governor Bird, for being very passionate about this subject matter, a subject matter that all of us should be concerned about. I just have a few comments to make, and it's basically in line with what the good member for Wabek has stated about enforcement of laws. But before I commence, I want to just elaborate on some of the efforts that we are undertaking in Oro Province. Most recently, we evicted a particular settlement known as Bove Compound in the heart of Pomonera, the capital of Oro Province. This particular settlement was illegally occupied for more than 30 years, and it had become a hotbed of crime, a home for criminals committing very violent crimes against citizens in my province. And most of the victims were women. And finally, we got sick and tired of listening to these concerns raised. Not sick and tired of listening to the concerns, I rephrase myself. We got sick and tired of these activities that were being perpetrated. And we decided to take a stance whereby we would identify all illegal settlements in our province, especially those that are harboring criminals, and start removing the people who are living there, harboring these criminals, committing these crimes. And we started with Bove Compound. As a result, law and order improved significantly in Pomonera. And our women folk were very grateful, and they said so. They commented on social media or wherever I happened to be, and they bumped into me, they told me crime had dropped significantly. This didn't obviously solve the problem. Most of these people were from Oro Province. What we did was to send them back to the districts. And then, working with my open members, I'm urging them to open these districts up. These districts that have deteriorated and become dilapidated over the years, and that have led to urban drift, significant urban drift that we cannot control. But we must. I want to urge my colleagues, especially open members, let's open these districts so that our people can return to them. And then what needs to happen is we have to build police stations, or those existing police stations that are there, we have to refurbish them, build police houses, buy vehicles, ensure that policemen are there to provide the security needed so that these economies can become thriving economies, provide opportunities for people, give jobs for our youth, and stop this urban drift that is contributing to many of these problems that we are speaking about. Bove Compound will be the home now to a temporary provincial police headquarters that we are building there. And a significant office will be built there that will be dealing specifically with gender-based violence. And we would like to recruit policemen and women who will be specifically tasked to deal with no other crime but gender-based violence crimes. I want to encourage my colleagues to do the same. I say this because I agree with Dr. Lino. We come and say all these things, we make these statements, but what are we actually doing? I want to state what I'm doing and encourage others to follow suit. In regards to the enforcement of the laws, we have to put some serious penalties and enforce these penalties. Enforce these penalties. Crimes such as rape should be life imprisonment. Life imprisonment. No parole. No bail. Even as I speak, there are rapists who have been given bail and who are sent back to their community awaiting trial. Why? Can the ministers responsible look at this? And what about the photos, the videos that we see on social media, where our women are being tortured in the most brutal ways possible, unimaginable ways, And it's not only those who are perpetrating those crimes, but those who are supporting the perpetration of those crimes. By taking these videos and photos and being there, nothing has happened to these people. So I agree with Dr. Lino in these regards. Let's enact these laws and then let's enforce these laws. Minister for Police, we really need to pay serious attention to the policing of these laws. This morning I raised this in government caucus about small crimes or offences that have been committed that have been ignored. For instance, roadblocks. I made mention of this. Now you can drive around anywhere in Papua New Guinea and you will see a roadblock. Anytime there's an incident, someone's cat, dog died, there'll be a roadblock. The community will set up a roadblock and they will start collecting money from motorists and they will harass motorists. Nothing will happen to them. This is a crime. Police have to arrest these criminals that are perpetrating these crimes. And I'm just using this roadblock as an example, but there are many other similar crimes. Small crimes that have been committed, littering, loitering, urinating in public gatherings that are unsanctioned, that are rowdy. And it makes all of these little crimes for us, and when I say us, I mean most of us here, with the exception to our 3 female members of parliament. For us as men, we don't think about these issues. We just drive through a roadblock. There's a crowd there, we don't mind, we find our way through it. But for women to go through this, it's an ordeal. And they go through this every day. After this session, go and ask your partners, your wives, your sisters, your aunties, your mothers, about the harassment that they receive as motorists when they're driving around, for instance. Or when they're just walking from here to the bank, for instance. Or when they're just going to school or coming back, for instance. I bet you if we were to ask these young girls that are sitting up there, they will tell you that they are harassed like this on almost a daily basis. What are we doing about it? I totally agree with Dr. Lino here. We have to enforce these laws. So I would like to add to those recommendations that have been brought here by the presenters who have made very good suggestions before me. 1, let's enact serious laws. 2, let's have dedicated police resources to enforcing these laws. Every province, every district. I mean, Dr. Lino should not need to come here and talk about something that's happening in Wabek where a person is harassing his citizens. Why isn't the PPC there dealing with that? Why isn't the police station commander in his district dealing with that? What's gone wrong so that he has had to bring it here to Parliament to raise it to the Minister of Police? Something is wrong. And I think we really need to scrutinize what we're doing insofar as law enforcement is concerned or policing is concerned. We can talk all we want about investment and how great we are and how wonderful we are as a nation, rich, etc., etc. We are not going to get anywhere unless we get law and order right. So gentlemen, please, this is not a matter of something we should be laughing at. Member for Chuabe and Governor for Isipik, this is not something to be laughing at. It's not funny. Governor for Isipik, you are deputy chairman. You should not be laughing about this. It's not something to be funny or laughing about. Gentlemen, let's be serious.
Order.
Member for North Fly, this is not something to laugh at. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Thank you. Let's be serious. Policing is a real problem here. Let's overhaul our police. Let's bring back the pride, command and control, the discipline, the ethics, the morals that we used to be proud of when we thought of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. Let's bring that back. They need help. They need resources. They need serious attention. And then by putting those resources where it matters, then we can improve the lot of our women folk. Finally, what I would just like to add is the 2027 elections are not far off. And what have we done insofar as implementing the recommendations that were tabled here in the report presented by our good governor for Isipik for the elections? what we would truly benefit from would be to have more women in our parliament. And to have more women in our parliament, we need to encourage more women to stand for elections. And we can do that if we make it a safer, conducive environment for our women folk to stand for elections. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.